featuring a series of partner events which will highlight your favorite products, manufacturers, artists, and more. Join us every day at 2:00 p.m. from November 1st through December 20th for exciting interviews, live audience Q&As, and a chance to win special prizes. Head over to the Fishman YouTube channel now to subscribe and set your notifications so you don't miss out on any of these events. Hey guys, this is Ken Susi with the Fishman Partnership Series. I am here again live. We've been here every day at 2 o'clock p.m. It's been amazing so far, and every day I kind of tease whether or not we're going to give something away or not, and today we actually are. So let me show you what we're giving away. Also, actually, before I do that, we have Dean Guitars here. Chris Cannella, one of my good friends in the industry. I've known him since I was basically this big. He's one of the best guys in the world. He is the AR, I believe, or he does product management over there at Dean. So he's here today. So if you want to talk Dean, he is here. So again, we are going to be giving away a free set of Fishman Fluence modern humbuckers, either in 6, 7, or 8 string. So we will pick a winner by the end of this live stream. So if you're looking to show up and win these pickups, actually let me flash them on the screen again. If you're looking to show up to win, you have to head over to the Fishman page. We ask that you like and subscribe to our page and set your notifications, but there is a link in the comments section where you can enter to win these amazing pickups right here. So also, Dean was nice enough to let us also share this stream on their social platform. So currently we are streaming on the Dean Facebook page. So again, head over to their pages, like and subscribe to their stuff. Just show the support all the way around. As you all know, the partnership series is all about our relationships between our partners. And I definitely want to just jump into this, but let me show you this. www.fishman.com. Any of your Fishman questions that you may have, whether it's electric, acoustic amplification, acoustic pedals, MIDI control pickups, the whole nine, you can find it at www.fishman.com. So with that being said, I have my great co-host, Mr. Rob Ketch, the Senior Vice President of Sales. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, Ken. Very excited to have Chris and Dean Guitars here today.
Definitely. Rob, I wanted to push this up on the screen. I know we're eager to get Chris up here.
We sure are.
We love to answer your questions. That's one of the best things. That's the reason why we're here. So if you have any questions, we strongly encourage you to ask them in the feed right now, and we'll pop them up on the screen. There's a lot of you guys just saying hello or sending us nice little emojis, greetings from West Virginia. All that cool stuff. But we have, Rob, we have a question here. Why don't you answer this really, really quickly before you get going with Chris?
You got it.
So does Fishman make a plug-and-play tone/volume control setup for a piezo pickup with mono, a plug connector? So can you explain that?
Trying to read the question, we don't really do anything with 1/8-inch plug connections. They're so small and they're so fragile, they tend to break. So pretty much everything we would do would be in a 1/4-inch situation. And most of our systems at this point with piezo pickups have active electronics built into them for the acoustic guitar side. If it's an electric guitar question for our electric guitar piezo power bridge products, we do have a standalone volume control that is also the preamp for the piezo side, and that's called our power chip. So if you want to write to us and explain a little bit more what you're trying to do, we'd be happy to hook you up. But that's the word on that one.
And what Rob means also by write to us, hit up our support department. They're doing great stuff over there. It's support@fishman.com. Enough about us, more about Dean Guitars. I'd like to announce our guest, Mr. Chris Cannella, my personal partner in crime and my good friend. How you doing, Chris?
Doing awesome, buddy. How are you?
Living the dream right now. Absolutely living the dream. Chris, it's awesome to have you here. Just to get you familiarized with our audience, as well as I'm sure yours. I just wanted to just state, you've been in the music industry such a long time. How did you get into, just even before the music industry, how did you get into guitars? How did you first discover guitars for yourself and music in general?
I think it's kind of the same way everybody did. It was from music. And when I first got my ears to hear the music of Black Sabbath, as well as the first 2 solo Ozzy records, that made me want to get involved. It made me want to go down that pathway. And ever since then, it was just been an obsession. It's, kind of the cliched way, but it's something that you just can't let go of.
Exactly. Well, you have been in bands for years. Tell us a little bit about where you came from and what band you're currently playing in now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, my professional band touring world started in the '90s with an industrial band called N17. We did pretty well, did the whole major label thing, and had the whole, story about being on a major label where you get to do so much and not make a dime. And then after that, did some side projects, a lot of studio work. I also did my own band for a very long time, on and off, called Autumn's End. But for the last 2 years now, I've been the official fourth member lead guitar player of death metal legends Deicide.
Very evil band. but I gotta
The
say,
evilest.
But I gotta say, we met up in Germany. What festival was that? Where we met up recently?
I thought that was it Alcatraz?
No.
I think
it was that big one.
'Cause we
Brutal
were-
Assault or something, or not
Might-
Grass. Whatever. It all
Summer
bleeds
Breeze.
together. It all bleeds together. But I
Yeah.
was lucky enough to have dinner with your bandmates, and I was expecting them to like eating the heads off of bats and stuff, but they weren't. They were actually eating normal food. It was nice. It's nice to see, and they were nice guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we finished it up at the end of the night. We do all the major murders and goat blood drinking after the shows.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Here I am thinking I'm reckless, but no way. So for those of you that we're going to continue to talk about Chris real quick, but just a quick reminder, if you're just popping in, we're giving away a free set of Fishman Fluence Modern Series pickups, whether it be 6, 7, or 8 string. One set will be giving away to a lucky winner by the end of the stream. And head over to the Fishman YouTube currently right now. Inside the comment section, you will find the link to enter to win. But Chris, again, being a musician, obviously, it's a very unique thing to kind of cross over between being a musician. You and I are actually the only two people that I know that have done it, being in regular touring bands. So can you talk about? You've always been in the music industry. You've always been working for companies as well as being in a band. Can you talk a little bit about that as far as like where you've been and how hard it's been to actually carry both positions?
It is, there's no doubt. It's always been pretty difficult to be able to try to be in a professional band as well as working on the manufacturing side of the music business. Some companies don't really like that, and they shy away from having their employees be in professional bands outside of local cover bands. And I went through that with a couple of places, and it got to be very difficult. So you're using like your vacation time and stuff to utilize for touring, and it got a little I can't difficult. So when I came on to Dean Armadillo for Dean and Luna, it really was a shocker because I wasn't expecting to, when I came on board, I didn't think that in a year I was going to be the guitar player for Deicide. And then when the opportunity came, I brought it up to our CEO, Evan Rubinson, and I was nervous. I was like, oh man, here we go again. I'm going to have to make a choice. And he was exactly the opposite. Now, fortunately, he's an extremely forward-thinking dude, such a supporter of everything. So right immediately before I was even able to finish my sentence, he was like, no way, you're going to be the guitar player of Deicide? Oh, man, I can't wait to have you working from tour. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So it has been hard. And as you also know, I have a family, so it's like trying to balance three things out, and that's why this year we finally were able to move the family all to Florida so I can have my family, my job, and my band all in the same town of Tampa.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was actually just telling Rob Ketch the quick story about how my band one night I was asking you what your address was, and I was kind of like, oh, like Chris, I'm going to send you something in the mail. I'm like, what's your address? And he hands me over the address, and the next thing you know, my band pulls up in front of his house with a tour bus, and we decided to
Yeah, that was, and the funniest part about that was that it was actually my birthday.
Oh, it was.
So it was on my birthday because I think you were like he showed up at the front, and Buzz was like, "Do you have any pizza?" Like on the phone, it's like, "Do you guys got any pizza? Can you order some?" I'm like, "Why? Why do you want me to order pizza?" And you guys start knocking on my door, and that ended up being a pretty painful next day because that went on with some mad debauchery.
That was awesome, and that was the first time I met your amazing family. So with that being said, though, how you did mention that you were playing in you joined up with Deicide, and you got the offer at Dean, but I mean, just give us a little insight of how you actually landed the gig, and what is it that you actually do there at your company?
When I first got into the industry, it was actually really strange because I didn't get into it in the normal way. FMIC recently bought, at the time, back in 2002, bought Jackson Guitars. And then after they were able to launch it under the FMIC mantra, they knew that I lived in the Phoenix area. And Brian McDonald hit me up and said, "Would you like to come join us?" Because my old band at the time, N17 and Autumn's End, really weren't touring at the moment. So that started out of nowhere. They called me. I was working at Chase Bank in fraud, bankruptcy, foreclosures and repossessions. So after moving from FMIC, for just shy of a decade, went over to ESP Guitars for about 4 years, and Hollywood just really didn't work out for me. And as we parted ways on great terms, I was driving home from LA back to Arizona, and I got a phone call from David Vincent, from formerly of Morbid Angel. And he was like, "Listen, man, you really need to come over to Dean. These guys are just like you. The attitudes are the same. Everybody's so cool and down to earth." And I was really not, I was like, man, I've only been on the road for 2 hours. I'm not really looking to make a jump yet. And then about 6 days after I got home, I started speaking with Evan. And it turned out to be some of the best conversations that I've ever had. And by December, I flew out to take a look at the facility, walked around the place, saw the wood shop, met Dan Russell, met Raven, met Eric, and was blown away. And I said, "Give me the pen, sign me on." And it's been an amazing 3 years. It's actually 3 years next week that I've been here.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to just let me know what your new address is, and we'll send you a present.
That's right.
It'll be me at your doorstep again.
We'll be doing fresh ones at 1 a.m.
Exactly. So right here, this guy had the same path as you two as well. I had a choice between rock school and metal school, so here I am. So this guy chose wisely. We have chose poorly. So Chris, real quick too. I mean, you're a player, so and I know what kind of guitars you have in your collection because we've been friends for a long time. But what even though you got the opportunity to work at Dean, there is something to be said for the playability of the guitars. What did you notice? I mean, up front, you were like, you're used to what you normally play, but when it comes to Dean, like, what is it about the Dean thing that kind of turned you on to even want to work with Dean? I mean, there's something that within those guitars that they already had in their line that must have attracted you to the company.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I'd have to say the V-neck, the back of the neck, I really wasn't familiar with them. And then when I came here and started playing some of the guitars, I was just like, wow, this really just felt comfortable to me. The way that the company builds guitars is very independent. It's very old school. We're not owned by anybody else. There's no investment brokerage. Evan owns it. It's, the Rubinson family. And Armadillo is Dean, D-Drum, and Luna. And the independent vibe, the just the overall rogue attitude and the unapologetic attitude about just being who we are in our own skin, that really excited me to come on board. The guitars themselves were so well made and so tonal. It wasn't my normal, mahogany. It was new to get back into the mahogany and shorter scale lengths and stuff like that, and it just felt. I just started loving it, and I started using them with Autumn's End, and then when I joined Deicide, immediately it worked because we had everything that I needed: 24 fret, 2 octaves, Floyd for Deicide, and with like the V's, like the 79 V's and stuff like that, just really worked so well with Autumn's End, and the clarity, the clean tones, the whole process and the camaraderie of the people here is what really keeps this place strong, and it's growing and growing and growing. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. We cannot make enough stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and I was going to say, to speak to your point too, from hanging out with you, I'd say with a lot of companies, especially bigger companies, you have to talk to like 5 or 6 people until you get the right answer out of one guy, or you actually even connect with somebody at that company. It's awesome because whether I'm talking to you or anybody else at your company, it's like I feel like I'm talking direct to the heart of the company every single time that you have a conversation with somebody there. It's not like, oh, I don't really do that. There is, though, somebody over here that does that. You don't have to like work your way up the food chain to get an answer or something like that. So Dean's always been pretty upfront, cool, and it's a bro down over there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely is. We all hang out together. We all drink together. It's really is. It's a tight. It's almost like being in a biker gang, and it's like you mess with one of us and you got them all.
You've already got the look though for the biker gang, so I would never fit in. Guys,
we're both Sicilians, so
exactly. Yeah, we're just greasy guys. So so we're gonna, again, guys, we're just reminding you, we're halfway through here. We have a free set of pickups that we're giving away: Fishman Fluence Modern Humbuckers, 6, 7, or 8 string guitar pickups, and head over to our YouTube, click the link in the description in order to enter to win. But again, Dean and Fishman have a long history of working together on acoustic instruments, including the exhibition acoustic models and the recent Edge Pro basses. Of course, Dean is an incredibly famous electric guitar brand, but please can you just share with us a brief history of Dean in general?
Yeah, well, Dean, the company was formed in 1977 by Dean Zielinski. A short time after it came out, it was really a 70s guitar. Sammy Hagar was playing them, ZZ Top was playing them, The Cars, a lot of bands back then. And then the company had its issues at the time. In the 80s, it changed ownership a couple of times. But in 1997, Elliot Rubinson bought the company and started it over from scratch. And with all the original designs, and here in the building, just to give you a little background, we have an area upstairs where we keep about 200 or so original Deans from the 70s and 80s on the wall. That way we always have something to reference to keep that integrity there. As we're developing new stuff, we look at the old builds, and then we even try to improve on it. We do the rolled fingerboard binding. Just so many cool things that we do here that are so true to the 70s and 80s. But combining that, historically, now that the company is larger than ever, we have been dealing with Fishman on acoustics, even with the Luna brand. It's probably 90% of our acoustics all come with one form of Fishman or another. At this point, we can say that the only other brand of acoustic preamps that we use are the sub-branded Dean or Luna preamps. Everything else is Fishman from one level to another. It's reliable. We do massive amount of business with Fishman on acoustics because A, not only is the product reliable, the company of Fishman's reliable. We've never had to wait for product. Everything shows up. The consistency is always there. There's very little return, if any, and the sound is always there. So, and that's going to continue to grow as we just are releasing this year new St. Augustines that all come with Fishman's. So, and then on top of that, this, the guitar that we're going to talk about here in a little bit is our flagship of the Fluence models. And we are going to be putting out a lot with Fluence between the moderns and the classics, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to talk about Fluence and the new guitar as well too. I'm going to pop in and ask a couple one question here. This is a general question, Chris. If you can read that, why is the 24 3/4 scale length still the standard?
Well, the best way to put it is that if it ain't broke, why fix it? I mean, it's our standard, and it's actually 24 5/8 is the actual spec. We just use the term 3/4 because it's easier to understand and compute, but it's been that way since '77. We do make 25.5-inch scales, like on the MD series or the Exiles. We do have them in 25.5. We even have some coming out here that are 27.5. So, but the 24 5/8 is our go-to standard, and that's what just feels great with those V-necks.
Nice. I'm going to pass this off to Rob too. I think he's eager to talk to you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very, very cool, Chris. Once again, as you mentioned, Luna, Dean, Fishman, we've been working together for many, many years. Lots of acoustic focus. The bass is very cool. Before we jump into the new guitars, which I'm super excited to see and hear about, if you could spend a minute, I know one of the things that really distinguishes Dean, and you named a few of them a minute ago, but I know some tremendous artists, in addition to yourself, play Dean guitars. Could you name a few names of famous Dean artists throughout history, and maybe some of the most exciting current artists that are with you?
Right. Well, of course, for I believe since about 12 or 13 years, obviously Dave Mustaine. We have Leslie West, Michael Schenker, who is just an icon in itself. And on the modern side, we now have Kerry King on board. I mean, the roster just keeps growing. I mean, we just recently got Reese from Havoc. We got Mika from Grave over in Sweden. So it's really crossing between the extreme metals, the hard rocks, the classic rocks, and thrash. Got Bobby Gustafson from Violence, who recently came on board, formerly of the first 4 Overkill records. Great dude, and it's just going to continue to grow. And it's been thunderous. It's awesome.
That's great. Actually, I really want to jump into the new guitars right now, and this is a kind of a cool little segue question right here from Mike, right here. Being that Dean is. Oh, I'm sorry. So we have a really great question that's popping in here to kind of segue into the guitar that we're going to talk about today. Being that Dean is tight with the brand Roots, are the models that are Dean Roots meet modern guitars design? So he's asking if there's like a Dean Roots / guitar that's kind of has a modern flair. And I'm looking at these pictures right now of the Exile guitar, and I think this is like classic Dean. And do you want to just describe a little bit what this guitar is?
Yeah, and actually, this guitar, the Exile, is it's more of like that high performance acrobatic type player. People that do lots of lead playing, and that body shape goes back a long ways, all the way back to 1988. But we've modified it a little bit, gave it a little bit higher upper fret access, and obviously starting with the Fluence. Now, that other combination of Roots to modern is, after this guitar comes out, we're going to have Thoroughbreds, Vs, and MLs that all have Fishman Fluence in them, but they're going to be, with a flatter radius, and so it's going to be kind of like old and new. These all have chrome logos, Floyd, non-Floyd versions, and then we have even more stuff coming out that's even crazier, and it's nonstop. Hope that helps.
No, that is a gorgeous guitar, and it's great. It's great to see the roots of Dean being maintained, as you said, Chris, with the museum there, and I've seen it. Michael Schenker is the man. I have to agree with that. Certainly, one of my favorites. But having been in the museum and having had hands on a lot of the old Dean guitars and that level of craftsmanship that was always there, it is fantastic to see you leveraging that and maintaining it, and then, as you said, sort of optimizing the designs for different styles of players and modern players to jump into the Dean brand too. It's not it reveres the history, and you guys have beautiful, historically correct models, but it's great to see also that you're making guitars for the upcoming players and the players of tomorrow and what they're really going to want.
You have to. It's like we're unapologetic about who we are, but we also know that to be able to continue to move forward, you have to think about tomorrow and the players of tomorrow as well as today, and as well as yesterday. I mean, you can't appeal to everybody, but at least we know that our segment is covered, and even with our import factories, for our high-end imports like the Select Series stuff, we are very rigorous that the construction of those and the neck shapes and everything of that still holds true to Dean roots. And It's getting even more crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this is an amazing guitar, honestly. And real quick, before we keep diving into this, we have a lot of people watching right now, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that today we're giving away a set of Fishman Fluence humbuckers, modern humbuckers that is, in 6, 7, or 8, your choice. So we'll be giving this away by the end of the live stream, and just do us the favor, head over to our YouTube page, the Fishman YouTube page, and then click the link in the description and to enter to win. But Chris, I mean, I'm looking at this guitar right now, and I'm very, very curious as far as how it's built. Can you just give us the specs of this guitar? What kind of woods, the neck, the whole nine? Just give us a nice little once over.
So this one has this is an alder body with a 3-piece maple neck and a 16-inch radius ebony fingerboard, with a 1000 series Floyd, 2 Fishman Fluence moderns in there with a push-pull, so you can choose which mode you want to be in per pickup. With that, obviously you see we don't use a scarf joint. It's all the way down from headstock to the heel.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to pop this up on the screen, and obviously we've been promoting Fishman, our giveaway today for the modern humbuckers. I mean, you guys chose the modern humbuckers. I want to know, well, first of all, you being a player, I know you. We've had this talk before, but I want everybody to hear it. I mean, I tried to send you Fluence a while ago, and I think you were already kind of stuck playing what you were normally playing. But then you had that oh my God moment where they really resonated with you, and then you got it. So I was just wanted to talk to you about what your journey was like. What you don't have to name what you were using, but what was it about the Fluence Moderns that you found prior to even your company even knowing about them, up front or trying them? What was it that you saw in Fluence that you really liked?
Well, what really took me back is, you sent them out to me, and then I finally just got off my butt and put them into my MD24, and they're actually Fluence Classics that I use in DSI, and I tried them, and the reason, and I'll go to both parts about the moderns and the classics. What I fell in love with is that when I put them in I put the classics into my modern MD24, we did a European festival run. That's where you and I ran into each other, and we were just doing festival after festival, and then we did a couple of live feeds in London and Switzerland. And when every night the sound guy comes up to you and is like, "My gosh, thank you." Like, for what? Like, your tone is amazing. And it's open. It's not squash. It's not overly compressed. It's got the output. And for me, what I like about the class is that they're a little unforgiving. So if you make a mistake, everybody's going to know it, but it's true. They're very clean. That when you go to a clean tone, and even if you go from mode 1 to mode 2, you can finger pick on them. You can, just really get as dynamic as you want with them. And that's what really caught me and set me back. And that works for both the moderns and the classics. I use the classics for the Alnico. But the moderns, which was so good, is that it just felt comfortable. And we had to do an A/B with some of our dealers over on the West Coast. And we did an A/B with them with the Fluence moderns as well as another brand side by side. And the dealer said, I don't want that guitar with the other brand because that one over there with the moderns sounds exactly the way I wished a guitar would sound. That's a
huge compliment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've been using them and I love them.
Yeah. And actually, I think a good question to ask you too is that, like, so the modern humbuckers are known to be, a modern heavy metal sound. One voicing is very active, the other one is a passive, but it's very muscular and aggressive. So there's a lot of people out there in the world that are kind of like, how is it? They don't understand the Fishman technology, right? And I don't want to get into the details of it because I think people can go right to our site and check that out. But you being a classic player, that is a very passive pickup, like sounding pickup. It's something that a passive pickup player would play because that's what you're used to. Now, you coming from other passive pickups that have been, wound with copper wire for the past 80 years or whatever it is that you've put in your guitar, should people be scared of this new technology? Do you think it sounds unpassive like, or do you think it sounds true to the original but just better? Like, what is it that you're hearing?
I'm hearing it's honest, and I mean that as a true adjective. I mean that the sound is very honest. It doesn't sound processed. I know people may come across and say, "What? These are digital pickups." No, they're not. They're real pickups. They act like real pickups because they are real pickups. It still comes down to the sound of your hands, the strings, and the wood. But one thing they do add is consistency, to where you will always have, no matter how many guitars you have, and if you're a Fluence modern player, if you're a Fluence classic player, the tone will always be good and your output will always be good. Yes, they will sound different depending on what you put them in, if the guitar is made of mahogany or basswood, because they are still real pickups. This isn't fake tone. Just because there's circuit boards in them instead of winds doesn't mean that it reacts like a computer. It's a way of making them so where they'll always be consistent in production, they'll be consistent in sound, and very easy to deal with as far as once they're in your guitar, you pretty much set it and forget it. The battery life is good. I use the USB my guitars, which I think is great. And say that I lose so many phone chargers as it is. Why would I want to lose one for my guitar? Come to find out, it's actually really easy to just plug your guitar in at the beginning of a tour and never have to worry about it again. You're not going to run out. They last forever.
Right. And you're used to the 9-volt being in your guitar, and you say to yourself, like, my tone sounds weird today. Did I check the battery? Is it dying? At least with the universal battery pack, you're getting a consistent 9 volts for like 200 plus hours. You don't even think about it anymore. That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned it too, because the one thing that I like to talk to people about is the consistency, and that doesn't come up very often. But you're a player, so most players do notice that. I can go back to with my Unearthed records in the past. I would have a producer sitting in the chair and he'd say, okay, give me your guitar. And sure enough, these guitars that I have are custom shops. So they're like $8,000 guitars, but I have like 20 of them. So he's just taste testing each single guitar. And obviously they're made with somewhat similar woods. But at the end of the day, he gives you the one guitar that he says, this one sounds good, the rest of these are garbage. And I always used to think that was crazy because I'm like, it's almost all the same woods. There's pickups in them that are the same. I don't understand. So when you start talking consistency and Fluence, I didn't realize that how inconsistent old pickup technology was until I joined up with the Fishman team. And once I have, now that I've loaded Fluence into all my guitars, now all my guitars are the players, right? Do you feel the same way like when you go in the recording studio?
Yeah, I do. And I do, here at at Dean, we make the passive DMT pickups as well. And obviously, we can hand wind them slowly to make them, consistent. But when I'm in the studio, especially now that we're writing a new record, I need this to sound exactly the way I do at rehearsal for all the hours that we're going to be tracking. And this really knocked it out of the park. I mean, when I'm using the classics through my Mesa, it's just every time. It's not degrading throughout the recording sessions or the demo sessions. It's not changing tones when I go to my lead. It's always there, and I'm not worried about it. It's that sound that your sound guy as well as your engineer says thank you. That's awesome.
Right. And I definitely want to state, obviously, you were talking about how you guys found Fluence and how you started putting in this guitar, but this Exile guitar, I mean, I'm throwing it up on the screen right now. Can you just tell us a little bit about the players that are currently playing this? I mean, are prog players playing this or death metal guys?
Yeah.
Like what's the range?
Right now, for the Exile, it seems to have been a lot of the, a prog style guy, as well as, I guess, like the modern death metal, the drop tuning stuff, and a lot of the shred guys. So, like YouTuber style guys, that are just really, acrobatic playing, a lot of technical playing, because of the flat radius and because of the high access. For lack of a better term, the shred head. That's who's really been getting into these.
Floating though, sorry, that was awesome. That was just flowing those out on the screen. But real quick, everyone who's watching, we are giving away a set of Fishman Fluence humbuckers, modern humbuckers, 6, 7, and 8 string. If you want to win a set, now's the time. We're about to announce the winner pretty soon. We only have a couple more questions for Chris. Only a little more time with him. So just head over to our YouTube page, click the link in the description, and enter to win this great set of pickups. So Chris, I like to throw these questions out from the viewers. Greg's writing, did Dean make the ZZ Top fuzzy guitar and bass?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I never knew that. Do you know the story behind that?
Yeah. Nope.
Okay, good. Neither do I.
No, we don't have the fuzzy ones here, but we do have a couple of Dusty's basses up on the wall upstairs in the office. But we don't have the fuzzy ones. Those are still owned by them.
Nice.
But they are the old ones with the shrimp fork headstock, as we nicknamed it.
That's unbelievable. All right, I'm going to need a signature fuzzy Dean Ken Susi guitar. So Dave,
but yours has to be neon pink.
It does. Do they have neon pink fuzz? I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do. And then you can upset Brian Slagle again the way you did in Arizona with the pink guitar.
That story is I made the mistake of playing a pink guitar in front of Metal Blade Records, and we were signed, and they were upset. I ruined the show. So I sent that guitar to them, and then they broke it. So David Torres is writing, I love Dean guitars. I have 2 of them with Fishmans, and they are sick to play. So he is definitely on the team right now. Damien's writing. Oh, do you want to add something to that?
No.
Oh, okay. Cool. Damien's writing. Does Dean make extended range guitars?
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but yes, they're going to be launching in January, and they're going to be snuck out on all of our socials here in the next few weeks.
Nice. So there you go. You just forced a early release there, guys. Thanks a lot. You heard it first, Chef Fishman. Greg is writing, where are Dean guitars made now?
Since '97, we've been making all the USAs are made right here in Tampa, Florida.
Nice. So that's amazing. Let's see. We have a couple more questions.
Oh, and we built our USA custom shop inside the facility back in 2006. So that's when Dan Russell took it over, and the dude is amazing. Him and Jeff, and then Pat Baker over in USA Assembly, they're just killer.
Nice. Awesome. Here, Fluent's question popped in by Damien as well. Is Fishman purely active pickups, right? Well, yes, they technically are considered active, but over here at Fishman, we like to consider them powered pickups because you can achieve any type of tone with our pickups, whether they be active or passive. It's the new technology thing. If you're not sure of what a Fishman sounds like, there's plenty of examples online, but we highly suggest that you pick one up for yourself and try it out because I think you will... you'll be blown away. So Chris, obviously, we're winding down with you, but for sure, I'm going to continue to pop in some questions, but I wanted to ask you on a personal level, 2020 has been such an interesting year, obviously. What is this year, with all the close down, the whole the coronavirus scare, this whole thing that's happening, what has this taught you as a player, being obviously a touring musician, and what has it taught your company in general, as far as like, what is it that has taught you as a brand?
It taught me that music is a salvation for tough times. And I hate to sound like such a cliche Hallmark card, but it really is the thing that has kept people sane. And during a lot of this time, you're hearing the stories of increased suicides and drug abuse and things like that happening. Guitars and basses and musical instruments have seemed to be the thing that not only is the demand gone up, but I think it's the thing that's really helping people get through this, no matter what type of instrument or sound you're looking for. As a musician, it taught me that you don't need to rush to write music anymore. People will still be around. We've been spending the majority of the year writing for this new record that we're going to start recording in the near future. It made me learn as a brand to always never take anything for granted. And as a company, we've realized that fortunately we were able to keep things going. And we were lucky. We were really lucky. We didn't have to truly shut down at all. With the world going through the pandemic, some things got a little tougher to achieve, but we made it through it as a brand and as a team. And, our demand is so strong right now. We literally, without exaggerating, cannot make enough musical instruments right now from our facility or import enough from our factories. So it's taught us diligence, perseverance, and camaraderie.
That's awesome. Well, Chris, that's amazing to hear, and good points. One last question before, guys, everyone, we are giving away a set of Fluence Modern Humbucker 6, 7, and 8 string set of pickups. We're only giving it out to one lucky winner, and we're about to announce it in less than 2 minutes. So if you haven't entered to win yet, head over to the Fishman YouTube and click the link in the comment section. Chris, can you do me a favor real quick too? Obviously you guys have been nice enough to give us your credentials today so we could also broadcast on your channels. But can you just tell us your website, where to find you on YouTube, the whole nine, because I think it's important that everyone should follow Dean and follow all your products that you guys release.
Yeah, so our website is deanguitars.com. You can check out all of our stuff on YouTube. It'd be Dean Guitars Official, Twitter @DeanGuitars, or even @Armadillo. And for Instagram is @Dean Guitars Official. Same, you can just @Dean Guitars and you'll find it everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have plenty of videos of people playing all your guitars and all the information you need, right? Yeah. So if you have any questions, guys, about Dean, head over to their pages. They're obviously a great company, great group of guys over there and gals. So Chris, one last question before I announce this winner. And I have to do this because, he's a good friend of mine. Any killer dime bag guitars at HQ? I personally have seen his guitar collection up close, and I almost won one in a game of dice with him. But didn't. So, you have any cool Dean dime bag guitars?
I personally do not, but I did get to play on the Dean from Hell at Evan's house one time, and it was amazing. I love them, but I really want to get one. We have so many that come out of the USA shop. I really want a Stealth, in all honesty.
Yeah. That guy, he could play, and all of his guitars were cool, and they were all Dean.
That's funny. And I lost $20 to him on dice too, over at the Sepultura house in Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, for some reason he wanted me to roll. It was either I rolled and won the guitar, or he wanted me to wear a dress and shave my head. So I didn't even try to roll the dice. But one thing about Dean guitars that I will say that is pretty cool, that the way Dimebag used to use them, is that he would play his guitar, flip it over, and his guitar tech would put a shot of Blacktooth on the headstock, and he would bring it back to himself and drink it. It was pretty slick move. So
that's awesome. Almost as good as live dual beer bongs during a solo.
Right. Oh, guys. Well, hey, Chris, it's been awesome having you.
Right.
Let me do this real quick though. Guys, we are again. I'm going to show us one last time. We're announcing the winner right now for this giveaway for the Modern Series humbuckers for 6, 7, and 8 string. We do have a winner selected. It's Chris Cannella from Dean Guitars. No, I'm just kidding. It is not Chris. It's not Chris, but it is. The winner is, his name is Nut Cola. NUTKOALA. Boom! You have won a set of Fluence Modern Humbuckers, 6, 7, or 8 string. Don't worry about contacting us. We'll call you. We have all your information. We'll let you pick the set of pickups that you want, and we'll send it to you. And obviously, you're going to be putting them into your Dean guitar once you buy that as well, too, right?
There you go.
So we have, Rob, it's been awesome, right? I would say that it's been great having Chris on here. Do you want to say goodbye?
You bet. I actually had a quick question before we sign off.
Yeah.
Chris, the Exile guitar that you showed with the Fluence, my understanding is that's a brand new model. Is that available yet, or is that available shortly for people?
Nope. It'll be available in January of 2021.
All right.
So this is the first leak of that guitar, and we're doing it right here with you guys.
Dynamite. Well, we really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you joining us today, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks, man. It's been an honor.
That's
been an honor.
That's awesome. Same here, Chris.
Thank you.
On behalf of Fishman, thank you again, and your whole team, your social media team and stuff, for giving us all the assets for this live stream. Totally awesome, and we'll see you next time soon. Hang tight for a second. I'm going to lead us out. Guys, my name is Ken Susi. Here with Fishman, the Fishman Partnership Series, we had Chris Cannella from Dean Guitars. They have obviously amazing guitars that we got to see today, and they're stocked with Fluence. They're all Fluence equipped. So we had to highlight that partnership between us, because it's just such a great combo. So again, if you're interested in any type of Fishman products, head over to www.fishman.com. and definitely check out our products. And also, we just had Dean on, so feel free to head over to their socials and like and subscribe to their pages. We'll be back tomorrow, so please do us the favor. Come back here tomorrow, and we'll be going live. Who knows if we'll give away something else, but congratulations to Nucola today for winning a set of Fluence Modern pickups. See you.